Sky pilot. How high can you fly? No, wait. How high can you fly? You'll never, ever, ever reach the sky. Sky pilot. Who's gonna take you home? Fuck it! It's your old chuckle buddy. Guess what? Johnathan Ramcharan reporting live for duty. March 12th, 2018. Welcome to Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast. I got jungle fever. I got fucking spring fever, baby. Spring fever like a motherfucker. Whoo! 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 Double up. Whoo! Whoo! I got fucking... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh. I got spring fever, bitch. Oh, no. See, the thing is, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and, you know, some people debate that. You never recover from alcoholism. Today, I don't drink. Tomorrow, most likely not. I don't have a compulsion to drink, but you can never say you're a recovered alcoholic because you have to keep in check. You have to maintain your sobriety because you could lose it. I know people in my program that they talk about it. You know, there's people, they get sober for 25, 30 years and something happens in their life and they get a break in their judgment, a lapse in their judgment or whatever, and they go out and they drink. So, you know, I guess at the moment I don't know what the term is. I have never heard it really put the way that it is for me because I'm so unique. But I guess I'm just an alcoholic, and I'm experiencing spring fever at the moment. Like, the weather's getting nicer. You can smell the earth, like the soil and the, you know, moldy dog shit that people didn't pick up that's coming out of the snow come the springtime. I'm seeing women getting a little bit more scantily clad, you know, just, you know, getting a little familiar when they're at like a Starbucks, you know, they got their winter coat on, but when they take it off, ooh, cleavage. And, you know, I'm listening to music and it's getting me in that fucking, you know, like spring fever. I'm licking my chops, you know, licking my lips, licking my chops, you know, and like, you know, I wouldn't say craving a drink, but like the idea goes through my mind, right? I'm like, oh yeah, remember when you used to drink? Remember how nice it was to crack a beer, light up a cigarette and just get obliterated? Oblique? How could you be so obtuse? 30 days in the hole, Andy Dufresne. Who's obtuse, you motherfucker? No, I was being oblivious. Getting obliterated as a drunk. And, yeah, I'm experiencing some of that spring fever. And I don't have the compulsion to drink. I don't have the desire. But, like, the thoughts going through my mind. And I'm like 1 year and 4 months sober. Yeah. As of yesterday, I was 1 year and 4 months sober. And, wait, was that true? Wait. December, January, February, March. Yeah, 1 year and 4 months sober yesterday. And I never had any compulsion to drink in that time. Now I'm starting to get the quivers, man. I'm starting to get that spring fever. I was talking to an old timer at one of my meetings this past Thursday. He goes, "Oh yeah, there's time. I used to do a lot of drinking in this neighborhood. And this time of year, I get spring fever. You know, I start licking my chops, start licking my gams. You know, and I get that hunkering, that, you know, that yearning for the drink. And I'm like, God damn it, old timer, you got me to a fucking T. Like, that's what I'm feeling right now, man. I got this fucking compulsion, like this, like, you know, like licking my chops, staring at all the fucking women, listening to the classics rock and my fucking classic hip hop and the new hip hop. I'm just listening to music and it gets me amped, right? It makes me want to get drunk and smoke cigarettes and pretend I'm a rock star or some shit, right? Who's gonna take you home? You know, get all silly like that and shit. But, I don't know. I just gotta thank God that, I can never forget, right? I can never forget what it's like to be in that world of addiction. And that's what gets me through this, because it's just a dream, right? It's an illusion. It's like, see, most people, I guess, you know, I hear people discuss it at meetings all the time. When they talk about, like for the non-alcoholic, the idea of a drink is usually a romantic one. I'm going to have a drink and go out with my girlfriend or my boyfriend, and we're going to sit on a patio and talk about, fine art and enjoy each other's company. And then we're going to have a nice dinner followed up by another glass of, or maybe a dinner time cocktail finished up by a dessert liqueur. And then we're going to go for a walk arm in arm through the gardens of Eden. Then we're going to go home and make passionate love and wake up on Sunday morning and have a cup of coffee. Right? When I think about drinking, I think about disappearing. Do you bury me when I'm gone? Do you teach me while I'm here? Just as soon as I belong, then it's time I disappear. I want to disappear. That's what I think of when I drink. None of this cute flowery, go for a fucking date and stroll down the promenade horse shit. I want to disappear into a fucking closet with a 12-pack of beer, a fucking fifth of scotch, a fucking 2 grams of marijuana, and a pack of smokes. Just get fucked for days, man. Fuck my life. Fuck it. So, I can never forget that feeling of just that isolation, you know? I don't think anything romantic when I consider drinking again. I go on binges, man. I just disappear from life when I drink. Nothing matters. So. But hey, I got spring fever, but I guess what? Chuckle buddy. Johnathan Ramcharan. Still got to do my comedy due diligence, so let's put that aside. I went to Niagara Falls over this weekend, right? I had a free ticket because last year I did a gig in Sudbury. I think I told you guys about that. I got in a fight with a Mennonite. Some chick in the audience was giving me guff, and I had to flog her, verbally flog her, right? I told the audience that she sucked every dick in the crowd, and I told her to die. I said all sorts of horrible things to her. And then she got up and left in the middle of my set. And everything was a train wreck to begin with. And then I was catching my bus back to Toronto, Ontario, because the gig was in Sudbury, Ontario. So I'm catching the Greyhound back to Toronto after the show. And I went into the woods, right? Because the bus was delayed. The bus was delayed by 3 hours. So I go into the woods and I scream into the wind, "It's over!" And got on the bus and I got back to Toronto. But I called up the Greyhound and I bitched at them. I'm like, "You motherfuckers were 3 hours late. And you guys owe me some money. You guys owe me a fucking gift card or gift certificate or something at least, right?" So finally I bitched at them enough, and they gave me a free travel voucher for $40. So I went to Niagara Falls with this travel voucher this past weekend. Long way of telling it. I'm a comic, right? I gotta talk, right? Get off my back. Get off my back! And so I go to Niagara Falls, and it was just a really nice trip. It was really nice for me to get out of the city, enjoy nature. That was the plan, right? I'm gonna go see a little bit of nature. One of the 9 wonders of the world, right? I don't got much experience with the 8 or 9 wonders of the world, aside from being one. But I don't got much experience with them, right? So, it was pretty fun to go and see the falls again. But here's a strange thing. Standing by the falls, right? Standing there. This chick comes up to me, right? And she goes, do you know how to get over there? She points across the waterfalls, the Niagara Falls. She points across the falls. Do you know how to get to there? So I look, then I look at the bridge. There's like this bridge that connects the U.S. and the Canada. U.S. and Canada, this bridge, it connects. So I'm looking. I'm looking at the falls, and I'm looking at the bridge, and I'm looking at the woman. And I think, I would take the bridge. And she goes, ah. And she like totters off. Kind of funny, right? Like sometimes people's like questions are beyond me. It's just like, how do you get across the falls? You gonna fucking swim? You want me to toss you in? Good luck. Throw her in. But the truth was, though, she was actually this French woman, right? And had I been a real man, that would have been the perfect time to put the moves on her, right? But I'm no type of man, right? I get all shy and shit. I just lack the gumption to like, bust a move on her. So I'm just like, she goes, excuse me, monsieur. How do you get across to the falls? How do you get over there? She like points across the bridge, right? I should have been like, I don't know. I think we got to get a marriage license and go over in a water barrel or wheelbarrow. Is that how it works? I could have like tried to charm it up a bit. But in my defense, she was with 3 of her friends, right? So I was kind of hogtied. I couldn't really say anything. I'm just kind of like, take the bridge, dummy. But anyway, there's that. And but like the waterfalls, they're so the waterfalls, the Niagara Falls, the Niagara waterfalls. I guess they're waterfalls, right? Are falls and waterfalls different? No, they're not. I'm most certain of it. They're not different. They're the same. But I'm looking at the waterfalls, right? And the Niagara Falls. And, it really connected me to my higher power, man. I believe in God. God's great. God's been so blessed in my life. And I get shy about it sometimes, I don't want to speak up. Like, who's that fucking villainous apostle? That fucking that dildo. Was it Paul? Peter. It was Peter. I think it was Peter, that pussy. So, Peter, he's looking for Jesus after they abduct him, right? And, he's, where the fuck, where'd Jesus go? And he's looking for him and stuff, right? And then I guess some Romans are like, we gotta go get those disciples. We gotta get all those followers of that Jew bastard. We're gonna kill him. And, Peter overhears this, right? He's like, and he puts like a potato sack over his head and like hides in like a little like alleyway or something. And like the guards, they like march by and they narrowly miss Peter. And then Peter says something like, he gets like this sharp pang of guilt, or like he gets like a vision of Christ that says like, blessed are those that believe, that don't see. Or something like, blessed are those who, I don't know. Jesus was just pissed, right? He's like, you fucking asshole. Like, I do all this shit for you, making you bread, turning water into wine, getting you drunk, hanging out with you, teaching you how to do shit, teaching you how to do carpentry and, just being, I'm your fucking best friend. And you throw me to the fucking wolves like this? That's how you fucking treat a best friend? You just let him out to get killed by a bunch of Roman fucking sadists. Anyway, Jesus was pretty pissed at Peter for that. And sometimes I feel that way myself. Like, I just don't want to talk about it, because a lot of times at my meetings too, people always want to bring up like higher power. And you don't need a higher power to get into the program that I'm in. And you just have to have a sense of a higher power. Something higher than yourself that you can put your faith in. It doesn't have to be a quote-unquote God-like figure. It could be anything, right? For me, example, one of the things I love about God is squirrels. Part of my love for God is squirrels. I love the fact that he made those little things. I love them. They're so cute. I love it when they stand up on their little haunches and they put their little fucking, they flop their hands forward. They're standing there on their little haunches. And then they put their little hands forward. And then, they're just kind of waiting, like, you going to feed me? And you toss them a peanut, and they pick it up, and the peanut's like almost the size of them. They try to stick it in their mouth and run off. I love squirrels. I pay attention to them. I'm always watching them. Look at a squirrel's hand next time you see a squirrel. Like, those are the hands of the working. Those things are so nimble and true. You know a squirrel could do some work. You see their hands, like they're just nothing but like nerves and bone. But anyways, this whole God and squirrel thing got me looking at the waterfalls, the Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls, picking it up. Niagara Falls, picking it up. There's like a Parliament song, right? A George Clinton song, Parliament. Something about Niagara Falls, band, you're picking it up. Niagara Falls, band, you're picking it up. Niagara Falls, band, you're picking it up. It's a good tune. See, like I said, I got spring fever. God damn it. And, anyways, I'm staring at the falls and the wisdom of the time, right? Wisdom of time, just staring at these falls, right? Like, gap-mouthed. My jaw was hanging down, right? I'm just like staring at these falls. And like they had like this real like turquoise blue kind of color to the water as it cascaded over the fall. And it had me thinking, man. It really had me thinking. It had me stirred up, because I'm just like looking at it and I'm just, just thinking about God and stuff, and really just, spiritually content. Felt real happy. Felt really close. Felt a reverence. A majesty. I don't want to think about any other words at the moment. I just felt good, just to stare at that fall and think about, like something made that, and, I guess it made me too, and, I appreciated the nature in it, and, it's a good thing I fought with that Mennonite, got that free bus ticket. So anyway, after I stopped looking at the falls, I'm crossing the street, right? It's like Clifton Hill. I think that's the name of the street. If you ever been to Niagara Falls, like there's this street. It's like this winding Willy Wonka, fucking Dr. Seuss, Mother Goose, fucking the Cat in the Hat ass fucking street, winding and weaving up this fucking hill. It's as if somebody built a hill. It's as if somebody built a city on the fucking bank of a fucking cliff or something, This fucking Niagara Falls region. So I'm staring up this fucking Willy Wonka, Dr. Seuss, Mother Goose, fucking Cat in the Hat ass fucking street, Fake ass fucking cobblestone street. I'm staring up this fucking street. And as I'm about to cross the street, there's this old couple, right? And they're just adorable. I love old people. I love old people and I like young people. I like people, to be honest with you. Part of being a comic is it's just a fun place to complain, right? That's where like a lot of humor comes from. Angst, pain, aggression, dejection, failure, resentment, guilt. That's like a lot of good feeding ground for a comic, right? Because it's relatable and it's funny and it's the human condition, right? We all feel like Rodney Dangerfield, right? He had the perfect tagline. The perfect theme, Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I got no respect, Yes, my wife, there's another one, She tells me to come over one night, right? No one's home. I went over, no one's home, I can't take it anymore. My doctor, that's another one, Go to my proctologist. He told me to bend over and say cheese. My dog, that's another one. He watches me when he wants to learn how to beg. Get no respect. That's like the best fucking like tagline or saying as a comic. Like I get no respect. Or like that's just the human condition. Everyone feels that way, right? I stole that from a documentary I watched about him, though I did read his biography, Rodney Dangerfield. Anyway, I'm looking at these old people crossing the street, right, in Niagara Falls. I'm feeling real connected to them because I like old people. And as I'm looking at them crossing this Willy Wonka street, this fucking Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat, Mother Goose, fucking fairy tale, Willy Wonka, fucking hack-ass, fake-ass fucking street, this fucking winding, weaving cobblestone street in Niagara Falls, I'm looking at this old couple. They're crossing the street towards me. And coming out of the Hard Rock Cafe adjacent to them was this escort, this beautiful escort. Oh my God. She had this fucking beautiful fucking bleached blonde mop on her head. She had this gorgeous fucking leather tanned, fake tan thing going on. She had this black bomber jacket, black boots, and she was wearing these Daisy Dukes, right? Like I could see literally right up her asshole because I was downwind from her, right? I was downwind from her. And I was like, oh my God, I've died and gone to heaven, right? I'm staring up this fucking escort's asshole. And as I'm crossing the street, this old couple passes me, right? And the old man, he turns to me and he goes, I won't get caught if you don't get caught, son. I was like, holy fuck, did you just say that in front of your wife? I burst out laughing, right? And like, I felt kind of good to give him that laughter, right? Because, you know, he seemed pretty proud of himself for like, you know, making me laugh. And his wife, you know, she was good humored too, right? And she had a kind of a smirk on her face, right? I was thinking to myself, how the fuck did you just say that in front of your wife? I won't get caught if you won't get caught? As I'm staring at this escort, right? That's when it occurs to me. He was talking about jaywalking. We were both jaywalking at the same time, right? I'm just like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, it was kind of a cute little joke, you know? Like, I won't get caught if you don't get caught. Jaywalking, ho. You know, but like, you know, one of the great things about living in Canada is like you can definitely say fuck the police as a black man and like with no repercussion. I have no respect for police officers whatsoever. Like face to face. I respect what they do. Like I respect that they're like an entity that's out there that fights for justice, peace, and safety for the public. But like face to face, I fucking hate cops. Because you know what time it is. You know what's up. I'm a black man and I don't want to fucking look at you. You know it. I know it. There's a bad relationship there. Oh, here we go again. They hear me talking. Get that nigger off the podcast immediately! They storm in with their little fucking billy clubs and shit. Fucking blue wall. Anyway, I really have no fucking respect for police officers face to face. I respect what they do for their job, but like if I ever run into a police officer, I have like no respect. I have contempt. You know? The other day, a police officer was talking to me. Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question? I just look at him. I'm like, what? Well, you know, you don't have to have that attitude. I'm like, I can have whatever attitude I want to have. Now, what do you want? I live in contempt. I live in contempt of the police force. But anyway, that's a strange way to go. Because, like, I'm just trying to tell a lighthearted escort joke. Now I'm ranting and raving about the black and police relationship. But, whatever. That old man was kind of cute. Had a couple giggles and chuckles with his wife. And, you know, she was adorable, too. She looked like a really nice grandmother type, you know. Oh, Harold, you and your escorts. I remember when you fucked me silly on my wedding night here in Niagara Falls 75 years ago, Harold. And I'm just like, whatever. So then I went and I had a coffee, and it was good, you know. Had my fucking coffee. And, you know, just kind of a spiritual experience in general, you know. Just seeing those waterfalls, you know, and I'm just real grateful that I was able to kind of touch in and tune in with my my higher power, because, you know, there's some major wisdom in nature. You know, like when you look at nature, it just functions. You know, like I said about the squirrels, they just function. Like you ever see a squirrel scampering across a telephone pole in the middle of the winter? Like, that's a motherfucker that gets up and does its job, and it has a purpose, and it has a design, and it doesn't question, it just does. You know, unlike Peter, that fucking apostle, you know, or whatever you call him, a disciple, you know, they just kind of live, and they're grateful for it, these squirrels, you know, and the wisdom of time, just staring at that waterfall. When did that get there? And how long has it been there? And everything around it was inconsequential, you know? I came for the falls, right? I came for the falls. And I'm staring at the falls. And, you know, surrounding the falls was all this fucking, Like I said, this Willy Wonka, Dr. Seuss, Mother Goose, fake-ass, cat-in-the-hat-ass fucking town, these winding cobblestone roads, and these fucking, these hotels, and these, there was this place called the fucking Bird Kingdom. It's like, come to the Bird Kingdom. They had all these birds cooped up in this fucking Bird Kingdom across from a fucking falls where there's all these, like, seagulls flying around, right? These fucking seagulls flying around everywhere, yet next door to this is a bird kingdom. It's like, leave the birds to themselves, man. Just let them fly, for God's sakes. And something ironic, I don't know if that's I don't even know if the word ironic is the word I want, but there was a sign that said, no drone zone. No drone zone. It's like, well, if this is a no drone zone, what do you call these fucking things? These buzzards flopping and flocking around. Like, there's hundreds of seagulls just flying around and squawking. I hate when they do that shit, because, like, they got that faded yellow beak, that ugly faded yellow beak with, like, the corners of their mouth is, like, red. Kind of like that, like, just that real stale McDonald's ketchup look. It's like you got that McDonald's ketchup faded yellow beak, and they're squawking. And they're flying around and shit. And I get like this juxtaposition of feeling where it's like, on one hand, I'm feeling very tranquil and at peace with the wisdom of the falls. But on the other hand, I want to get a BB gun and start just shooting these little fuckers out of the sky. Hey, whatever, man. They got to eat too, I guess, So, and I wound down the trip to Niagara Falls by just walked around the town a little bit. Then I went to a cafe, the Queen Bean Cafe at, I guess it was on Queen Street. Was it? Yeah, I think it was on Queen Street. Yeah, it was. Queen Street. That's why it was called the Queen Bean. Duh. But, like, these village people are fucking hilarious because, like, Niagara Falls isn't that far from Toronto. Like, I took the Greyhound bus. It took, like, an hour and a half to get there. So, you got this big city life in Toronto. Then you go to Niagara Falls, and like, you see some yokel type shit, man. Like, just above that, just across the street from that cafe that I went to, the Queen Bean, this fucking guy, like, this fucking resident of the town, he opens the window, he's like right above like a storefront. He opens his window, pokes his head out, looks around, hawks a loogie. He's like, fucking spits on the sidewalk. And I'm just like, wow, this is like, it kind of reminded me like of in what do you call that movie? Beauty and the Beast, when Belle, she wakes up in the morning, she goes, this is my little town, or whatever, right? And she's like dancing through the streets. It's Belle, good morning, Belle, in her little quiet town, right? And that's kind of like the feeling I got. I'm just like, okay, this fucking idiot spitting out the window, goddamn hillbilly. Then I go into the Queen Bean, have myself a nice cup of coffee, and they had some great muffins there. Had a nice muffin. It's delicious. Sorry, I got a sip of my coffee there. I had a nice muffin. It was like this, what do you call that shit? It was like apple, banana. No, apple and oatmeal apple. Oh, God, it was crunchy and textured and layered and soft in the middle, but crunchy on the outside. It was delicious. And I was very grateful to be there. I dropped off a couple business cards for the podcast. jr.thepodcast@gmail.com. And, I dropped off a couple advertisements for the podcast, had a coffee. They gave me a lot of great hospitality there, too, right? This, what do you call it? I didn't even know he was I guess he was a waiter. I guess, I don't know. I just thought he was a customer at first. He was like this weird looking kind of dude. He had like, he was wearing a pair of those red Doc Martens. Like those Doc Martens, those military boots. He was wearing a red pair of them, and he had like a little like Andy cap on, like one of those little chapeaus, like whatever you call those things, those golf hats, those fucking what do you call them? Like you know how what's his nuts? Samuel L. Jackson wears those like Kangol hats, that shape of a hat. He was wearing one of those, and it was like plaid. And like, he had those red Doc Martens on. He's outside having a cigarette. He's got earrings. He's acting all weird and shit, right? But then he comes in, right? He goes, "Oh, can I take your plate?" And he clears my table for me, right? I was sitting there eating my muffin, and he cleared away the remnants of it, right? I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And very hospitable. I recommend it if you ever get into Niagara Falls and you just want a cup of coffee and a muffin. It's right next to the bus stop, too, if you guys take the bus. It's called the Queen Bean. So I had a nice time there. Got on my bus, put on my tunes. Never be a beast of burden. Music on the radio. Come on, baby, make love to me. Am I rough enough? Am I sick enough? I'm not too blind to see. Oh, pretty, 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 pretty girls. Oh, you such a pretty, pretty, such a pretty girl. Come on, baby. Please, please, please. Okay, you can put me out on the street. You can put me out with no shoes on my feet. But put me out, put me out, put me out of misery. All your sickness, I can suck it up. Come on, baby, let me shuck it up. There's one thing, baby, I don't understand. You keep on telling me I ain't your kind of man. Ain't I rough enough? Ooh, ain't I tough enough? Ooh. Never. You know, I got fucking spring fever like a bitch, man. I'm sitting on the bus listening to my tunes, pretending like I don't want to drink. Pretending, no, I don't want to drink. But, yeah, it's just the reality of what I live in, man. Maintaining my sobriety. Singing tunes to myself. Trying to pretend like I give a fuck about a muffin. Do you think I actually liked that muffin? I didn't give a fuck about that muffin. He served me this goddamn slop. This coffee tastes like it's been sitting here for a decade, you know? Got the ugly-ass waitress. Got these fucking yokels clearing my table. These fucking hillbilly morons are sitting there doing, like, coloring crossword puzzles and shit. I'm like, when the fuck is this bus gonna leave? Fucking yokels spinning out of windows. I go to the thrift store. I'm looking around. Smells like piss. Stupid bitches looking at me as if I stole something. You think I give a fuck about anything? You think I have any gratitude? I got spring fever, baby. I got the fever for the flavor. No, just try to dig myself out of that little comic hole. To be honest with you, actually, I had a great trip. Very grateful for my sobriety. And, you know, Niagara Fall bag, picking it up. Niagara Fall bag, picking it up. It's your old chuckle conundrum. Guess who? Johnathan James Ramcharan reporting that. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I got to do a redaction. On the last podcast, I mentioned that global warming was the effect of greenhouse gases depleting the ozone layer. That's not true. Apparently, you know, there's different gases and chemicals that do deplete the ozone layer. But what the greenhouse effect is basically greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane getting caught in the atmosphere, and they cycle about, which create a warming sensation, which is known as global warming, basically put. So that's my little redaction. I'm sorry. And let me go forward as a more responsible green warrior for planet Earth. And let me go forward and, you know, enjoy the spring. It's your old chuckle buddy. Guess what? Johnathan Ramcharan reporting live for duty on this March 12th, 2018. God bless the wisdom of time. Thank you, Niagara Falls. Thank you, Queen Bean in Niagara Falls. Thank you, God. Thank you, squirrels. Thank you, sobriety. All right. I'm going to go be a good boy. I don't want to be your beast of burden. All right. Hit me up at jr.thepodcast@gmail.com. Questions, queries, and qualms. Queries and qualms. Hit me up, John Ramcharan, jr.thepodcast@gmail.com. I'm going to beg for it. I'm begging for it. I'm chomping at the bit for it. And, yep, I'll see you next time.